go. Just to let you know we are live now.
Calling a friend.
Phone a friend?
That's right.
Yeah, one of Caitlin. Surprised Caitlin hadn't called yet.
I'm surprised.
Anyway, I'd like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing tonight. We have Steve Durbin and myself here hosting, and we have a guest with us already tonight. It's Cameron Patrick. Cameron, I know Caitlin hasn't called in yet. She's usually here at 7 o'clock and usually doing a lot of talking. We'll get a jump on her. Give us a little bit of background about yourself. Let the people out there know where you came from and rockin' sock'em robots.
Rockin' sock'em. Well, Cameron Patrick, of course. I drive the number 20 Legends and modified out at Langley Speedway. I can't say I'm from Virginia. I've been a military brat, and Dad retired here, so I get to start playing and start racing ever since.
Cool.
This would be my 11th season doing Legends and my 3rd year doing modified. So I'm a 2-time track champion at Langley. I also hold the track record for Legends. Not quite modified yet, but
Working on it.
working on it. There you go. Still early on in the season, I got Sean Beluzzo's helped out a lot this year getting our car set up. So we're a consistent top 5 car, and usually a 10th or 2 missing at the end to be able to stay with him. But we'll catch him one of these days.
Oh, I tell you what, was it last week? No, the last modified race that he
Week
and
before last.
Joey.
Yeah, they were beating and banging pretty good.
Oh, no, Stinson.
Yeah, him and
Bill
Stinson.
Oh my God, those boys were giving no quarter at all.
I was hoping they'd take each other out and be able to move up.
They almost did.
They almost did. Take it for what you can get,
Oh God.
They technically did, but then Sean moved back up. He just had a fast car.
Yeah, he
Did you
yeah.
do the Rolling Thunder last week?
No, we decided to skip that, trying to get ready for the Legends Nationals this week. And,
Oh, man.
they make you buy 4 tires, and unfortunately their payout isn't as good. And sometimes they can get a little rough. And coming up on the points with one more race left in the big car, we decided just to skip out of it.
It was a good night for underdogs.
Well, yes, it was.
Were you there?
Well, I saw the the results, seeing that Babs
Oh.
won. So I'm sure he's real happy after just getting the car. And
Trevor Edwards cracked out at lap 37, and then Joe Scarborough, the points leader, he cracked out a little bit later. And
Did he get involved with the 99, or they just both broke? Because it showed like they were on the same
broke.
route.
He broke.
Yeah,
Him and Winstead, I just saw the results. I didn't actually see how that happened.
And I talked to Joe afterwards. They just broke, and it seems like everything was just breaking out there.
Well, Langley's been known to be hard on parts, so you definitely got to come with your A game.
Yeah, I found quite a few today.
feel really bad.
I didn't tell you about all the stuff I found out. We're, right now I'm talking about the INEX practice they had today down at Langley Speedway. Cameron was out there. I heard he ran some pretty good laps. And there's a few times a couple of people got into each other and had to go around and pick up a few parts here and there. I came out with somebody's rear bumper. And I said, okay,
No,
who
you
hasn't
did.
noticed they're missing this?
Wow. Where was it at?
It was back in, going into turn 3, still in the back stretch.
Probably up against the wall somewhere.
Yeah, up against the wall. So I just went up there and where I was at, just leaned it up against the wall, and sure enough, here comes somebody over.
They didn't
Walking
wanna
over,
claim it.
hiding their head.
Yeah,
they
one
had
rear
to,
bumper.
They didn't want to claim it.
yeah.
Well, they've done that at Langley too. We had a couple weeks ago. I got involved with the kid, leading, and they sent 2 of us back. And unfortunately, Jamie Price got slammed into from behind trying to avoid our wreck, and he got the bumper clean taken off. And nobody realized that we were going green down the back straightaway, and all of a sudden they threw the caution out and realized he didn't even have a bumper on the car.
Huh.
So being black, and stuff gets slung
Oh,
around.
I think I noticed that actually.
Did you? I know one of the other cars crew pointed it out and got him off.
You've been running around Langley. Now Langley this year, and this is I'm doing a pet peeve thing here.
Every week.
Langley has this year gotten the rule back to where if you're involved in the caution in any way, like if you tap somebody to move them up so you can turn left and shoot underneath going into the turn, which is normally a legitimate move. If they're not skilled enough, they spin out or something like this, you and he get to go to the rear.
Right.
I mean, but that was something they've started doing now, because it used to be, if you drove through somebody, yeah, that was down outright bad driving,
Yeah.
send you to the rear for that. But if you're doing legitimate tap and run, there's never been anything wrong with that. And now,
They're taking
it's
that
at the
out.
point now that I've seen drivers, they go up underneath, try to get by somebody, and the guy up top just can't handle it or goes too high. All of a sudden he turns and slides, and drifts down and taps somebody even in the back quarter panel. He had nothing to do with that accident, and it didn't stop him, slow him down, other than making the back end get a little. But he kept getting it coming out, and then he still goes to the rear.
Right. It seems like they've tightened up a lot this year on, the incidental conduct and stuff like that. I know it's really bad on the leaders because I got sent to the back once because ran into the guy. He clipped in front of me and spun out, and take the leader out, you're going to the back. That's just the way it is. They may be a little more slack in the back because you really can't watch the whole track to be able to see what's going on.
Well, yeah, that's the other side you got to look at too, because they don't always have eyes in the right place. Right. There was one of the Legends races. I don't know if he was part of it or not. There was like 4 of you up at the very front, and it looked like all 4 of you came together at the wrong time. One guy hit somebody's wheel and wound up being the one that spun out, and all 4 of you, including the one that spun out, were all doing this, trying to recover. It was like cue ball hitting into 3 balls, and everybody's getting loose. Yet in the regular scenario, all 4 of y'all would have to go to the rear, and then they didn't do anything,
right,
except to the one person.
A lot of times the guy up front's the one that gets missed out on. He may be the one that brake checked, or something happened in front of him and he let off, and the other cars hit together, and then he create the spin. And fortunately, that's racing.
Oh yeah.
Just Robin's racing. Well, that's another incidents of racing. I've been involved with somebody. Last week with the modified, Beluzzo ended up getting up high, getting involved with Stinson in a earlier incident, and I run in the back of him, and unfortunately, I hooked bumpers with him. It bent the bumper, but I got off him, kept going. They still send you to the back because you were involved in the incident.
Yeah.
That hurts. It sucks. But the big key, as long as they're fair to everybody, you're upset, but that's the way it goes. You hate it when they're partial to some people and not others.
Yeah. The other thing they would say was, okay, if you have to slow down for the wreck,
yeah,
you go to the rear. Come on,
you weren't even in it. You're just
what do you
got
want
trapped,
me to
couldn't
do?
go anywhere.
Come on.
Well, like you said, if they can't see everything, they may see the accident, and all of a sudden everybody looks and they see that you were over there. Then they'll be like, okay, well maybe he was involved in it. They can't always see that. And the worst part is you don't have spotters that can talk to the officials or pull yourself over and say, hey, I wasn't involved, and try to convince them to let you go, because the spotters all have headsets on. They're getting told what the tower's telling them, and the final word has to come down. And sometimes it doesn't work in your favor, and other times it does.
Yeah. I used to remember back, was it 2007? We used to do live broadcast from Langley, and there was many times Butch Lasser would come over into the next cubicle, can you replay that for me?
Right.
And then he'd watch the video and say, okay, yeah, I see what happened now. All right, yeah, okay, you're going to the rear, things like that. And it would be nice if they were able to do that with Taylor up there, since he has all the video of all that stuff. And once again, at that point, it's 20/20 hindsight after the race is all done.
Right. Now you're almost down to like football with instant replay.
Yeah.
How much more time are they going to spend? Trying to figure it out. We spend enough times, we're sitting there wondering, okay, why haven't we started the race yet? What's going on? And that's what we wonder in the cars. Are they looking at a video, or are they trying to make a decision what they want to do with something that did happen? Because we have no way to talk to them to know what's going on.
Well, the times they did it with us, it was done normally. The amount of time it took for them to look was shorter than the regular caution laps would have been, because somebody got in their rack and they'd let them go over, change tires, pull the fender, whatever, and by that time they've already looked and figured out what was happening.
If they had somebody that could sit there other than Butch and watch the replay and get it ready, all right, Butch, here you go, here's what happened, and let him make a decision, that would make things better. But you never know how much staff they have over there, and dedicate somebody just to be watching cautions, and then you run an issue where, what if the camera didn't see it?
Oh yeah.
So now you're still back to, okay, who did see what?
Yeah. I reckon you look at it, give him as much information as he can, let him figure out what he needs to figure out.
Right.
And just like anything. Just like race car. You want to know all the information you can about what's happening on the track with your car. They come in, that's why you take the tire temps, you measure the tire, you going through with the heat gun on everything. And the more information you know, and the more you can do with the car.
That's true.
What are some of your aspirations that you're planning on doing?
Well, with racing, I can't say there's a whole bunch. Unfortunately, being 36 years old, even though I've been doing it for 11 years, nobody wants you. You're almost a has-been. So, and I race for Dad, who owns all the race cars. So, trying to find a sponsor. Most people are wanting to invest the time into somebody. They say, hey, you're already with the dealer. They don't want to get involved. I've had a few teammates come and go, but nobody really wants to grab you to try and move on because they see you're already involved. Mom's always said she could sell me off, and somebody grabbed me, and I'd go somewhere. But then again, if I can't do it with Dad, I really don't want to do it. If he's not involved, we may holler and scream and cuss at each other, but if he's not there standing in victory lane with me, I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to do it.
Well, I mean, for now, what I'm noticing for the older drivers, they love going having fun in trucks.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, God, they're tearing up. Even the young kids are coming out there and they're giving them a whooping.
But if, you look at the older guys that are doing it. But when they were young, they were in NASCAR. Where you
Yeah.
come somebody like me, I have 11 years of legends, but to try to move up into a big car, I'd be a rookie just like everybody else. And instead, now you're running against that 16-year-old who's been bred to do this versus, hey, I'm 20 years older than him. He's going to be way more gung-ho to run that sucker down in the corner. And, I see dollar signs when I run the car down in there. Sometimes the way I drive, people don't think so. But at the end of the day, I unfortunately ran over a guy today and got put in the wall. And, I didn't even have 15 laps of practice in. And so I spent the whole afternoon fixing that car, put it back together, and have to hear Dad talk about $500 worth of fixing. And all he had to do was let up. And so it's...
So, Dad, it's racing.
Telling him that, he has to pay the bill, and that's if I had a sponsor or somebody that come in and really wanted to be involved, and they were like, go at all costs, which is a lot of times what you're racing against. You look at it a little differently, but I don't, and I'm still dirty and sweaty from doing all that this afternoon before I came here.
Your husband said he was looking at your rear end. I don't know what he meant by that. I told him to tell his wife.
There's the phone call.
Y'all go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna go find out if that's the gate man.
We get dumped off quickly, don't we?
Oh yeah, he does it quite a bit.
That's good. Did you even come out to the track, or?
Today, no, I had to work. I just got off work and came down here. It takes me too long.
To get down here? You gonna make it to the rest of the event, or?
I'll be there Saturday.
Saturday?
Yep. I got a little thing to go to Friday night, but Saturday for sure I'll be out there. Probably from 11 to whenever it ends.
Should be fun. Everybody come out and see, 150, 200 legend cars.
Oh yeah.
Thunder Roadsters and Bandoleros get out there. Sometimes just walking around the pits and amazing. It almost looks like a big late model race or half a NASCAR race with these just $250,000 rigs, and out here come these little $10,000 Legends cars rolling out. And some of the sponsors on the side. It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, I've always been around just the little races. Never been to a big event, so that's why I'm excited to see it. I've always loved watching the Legends. It's just amazing to see a little big car like that go that fast, and they're always good racing. Everyone can hang on to it.
Power to rate ratio, we're better than a late model. We're 1,300 pounds. You're running on a street tire. It's everything you ever wanted to do in your street car, just not being able to. And here we're allowed to. And they're a handful. They wear yourself out. I heard several guys today from Carolina and some of the other places that said they were wore out, and they were really hoping for some caution laps in the feature to rest up. So hopefully my modified experience will help me out in that respect.
I'm sure that will, definitely.
I'll still be looking for a drink and a break like everybody else, but I'm used to going to 50 laps, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Take it wasn't who you wanted?
Telemarketer.
Telemarketer of all the
Telemarketer. Assholes.
Oh, well, maybe they were selling something good we could have used.
They were from Indianapolis, so unless it was a race car, they were giving me a free one.
If they had Colts paraphernalia, I'd have been fine with that. And he had a nice sweatshirt or something,
Free is free.
There you go. Take whatever you can get.
Oh, man.
She must be real busy. She's racing somewhere important, and we're just...
I don't know. I'm getting ready to text her to find out.
So how's the whole event going to work out this week?
Well, today we actually had like an open practice that everybody just came and, it's kind of just everybody go and get some runs. Tomorrow it'll be a little more subdued.
Serious.
Yeah, and then everybody will, they'll actually tell us when to go out, and we'll only be racing against, your peer group that you're supposed to be with when they separate out the Masters, Young Lions, Pros, Semi-Pros, so that you're right in with your group. So that'll be all day tomorrow. And then Friday we come on. Friday morning they'll start qualifying, which basically turns into small heat races. They'll put like 6 cars out at a time for 6 to 8 laps, and that'll be whatever your best lap is. That will put you basically you're qualifying. So they'll go through every division that way. Thursday night they'll line everybody up, and they'll take from your qualifying laps, whatever your best lap was, they'll take and line them up, and then they'll take an invert and put us in the heat race. So whoever qualified on the pole will probably could be in the C, D, E, F. Heat race, and he'll be starting dead last, and then they'll just work their way up all the way down, and you get points. I think it's either 100 or 200 points for a pole, and then it goes down like 2 points from there, and then when you get in your heat race, if you win the heat race, it's like 100 points, and then every spot from there goes down 3 points. So, and they've said every year that if you qualify inside the top 20, usually that as long as you finish your heat race, you're going to start the feature. It's kind of proven out to be that way. I know a few years ago at Lanier, I qualified like 12th or 13th, and unfortunately got wrecked out in my heat race, and I was still going to start 16th in the feature. So unfortunately the car was tore up and I didn't get to race, so it came on home. But it works out that way. The qualifying is truly worth more points than anything.
Yeah.
So.
How do they separate the class? Like, is there a power difference between the classes, or like?
No, we basically all run the same cars. They're all sanctioned. Rules are the same for every division. You have your hot dogs, which are usually your pros, which are usually guys that if you went around the nation have won, 3 to 5 races or more. So they're usually, the ones that move up into your pro ranks, which can be, of course, any age. And then you have your Masters division, which is for guys that are 40 and over, which they pretty much have to choose. They could come in as semi-pro, they could be a pro, but most of the guys, when they decide to be that age, they're, hey, I'm only 4 years away, I'm looking forward to it too. They get in with the guys that are a little more subdued. Your semi-pros are usually your rookie people, somebody like me who came in at 25 years old, you want to get in a division, you would start in the semi-pros, which are usually your beginners that usually have 2 to 3, 4 or 5 years under their belt, and either haven't won races or, just getting used to it. And now, the last couple of years, they've brought in these young lions, which are usually, I think, 16 or 17 and under they can get into, and they pretty much have to choose to be in that. A lot of times that's where some of your hot shoes end up coming out of, because you've got these young kids, got big talent, been bred to do this, and usually have money behind them, and they can be very exciting to watch.
So they might be young, but they're definitely good.
They're definitely good. Usually most of the kids, if they're up front, they'll roll around with the same teams that are bringing in your pros and your big trailers, and they're handpicked, and they'll run 30 to 50 races a year, so to them this is just another race.
Oh, yeah.
They'll come up and they're good.
I just remember watching one race where the leader just dominated the whole race and found out he was 11 years old. And I was like, it blew my mind. He was that young, just killing it out there.
Well, you get these kids that are coming up from go-karts or other forms of a karting world, whether they got wings or other kinds of things, and that's all they know how to do. They're not worrying about paying the bills. Daddy says go, get it for whatever you can do. They don't, they heal back quicker than the rest of us do if something gets hurt, and they get out and hand them their iPod, and they'll go back and wait while everybody's working on the car. When you're bred to do it since you've been 6, 8 years old and that's all you know, it's easy to get to that point. They don't know any different. Just get in and do their thing. You start later in life, life catches up with you.
Yeah, learn that.
Yeah, it seems unfair for somebody who's could be 11 years old and you're out there racing against them. Me at 36, and you figure you get wrecked. It's not the kid. You hope that they're going to be okay at the end of the day. It's dad being upset at you. That could be, just as important. You get out to go holler at the kid for cutting you off, and he's standing 3'6" staring at you, and you can't really get too upset at him.
So it also goes along with, like you said earlier about the sponsors. They're not looking for that. They want those young kids like that. And
right.
I know you're 36, but even me, I'm 24, and even I'm going to have a hard time. So they want the 18-year-olds and below.
Oh yeah, they're looking for the Joey Logano's who I've raced against. The Kyle Bushes. So they're trying to find, if they can get them when they're young and breed them in. A lot of times it's I know from what I've been told in NASCAR is they're looking for that young talent that knows how to get up front, because they can teach them how to drive those big cars.
Exactly.
They got enough engineers and they know what to do. They can tell them. So they're just looking for kids that got talent, may have a little money behind them, a little family. Sometimes having a good family name to go with it. We end up with a lot of the NASCAR kids that come out and start playing with us.
And that's kind of what I was told growing up is it's not who can run the fastest lap. Because anybody can run a fast lap. It's how well you listen, how well you discipline yourself, and what you're able to do in the car, consistency-wise. That has a lot to do with it.
We got some questions popping up in the chat room there for you. They said they wanted to know, you're talking about the kids and everything. What are your opinions on Chase Elliott and Ross Kenseth? As well as Robbie Allison and Taylor Strickland. And Dave Bladen. And Brandon McReynolds. They're all popping up.
I'd like to throw them all in one race and see what happens.
Oh, that would be cool.
Well, if they're all young, they almost could all be in the Young Lions race,
Yeah.
and qualify and be racing against each other. I think that's one of the reasons they came up with the Young Lions, was to try to separate those younger kids and get them together and have their own little championship. And I'll tell you what, sometimes they can get pretty rough, and they have tight racing, because these kids know what they're doing, and they're not in slack equipment. Daddy's got money, so they're going to be in good stuff.
Ty Dillon, Sergio Pena.
A lot of big names.
Sergio was out the K&N, the race at the beginning of the year. Candace Munsey was in it. The Toyota Championship out in California.
We've seen Sergio out at Shenandoah Speedway in his normal late model.
He can drive.
Yes, he can drive.
That's the bad part, and I hate to say this. There are a lot of guys out there, whether they're kids, whether they're older, Doesn't matter. There are some guys out there that can flat drive a race car, and it doesn't matter what they're in.
Yeah.
But linking up them to sponsorship dollars to get them out there.
So who you know, who knows
Yes.
about you.
Yeah, I mean that's kidding. I mean, look at if Phil Warren could ever have gotten anything.
Right.
I mean, all the guys in late models out there, and I love bringing up Paul Lubno. Paul Lubno, he is one of those guys. He'll jump in anything and make it at least 10 cars better than what it was just by hopping in it. You know, I have so many people that I know that I talk to that say they love, and I hate to see it because I spot for Paul. He winds up getting put to the rear. They said, "Oh, I love when he gets put to the rear. I love to see what he does, moving all the way back through everything." You know, and of course that new rule is what's been killing him because they'll tap somebody and they'll scoot them up and they'll go by. But if they're not qualified enough, they'll turn around and he goes back to it all over again.
Yeah, it's sad when you can't go from local late models to jumping up to finding your big sponsor. You know, since we're not that close to Carolina. Langley isn't known for producing big names. I know the Edwards tried to move up, a few years back and weren't as successful. And Woody Howard, he ran for Joe Gibbs there for a while and won a bunch of Hooters races, and his deal fell through. So
that's
I know about that one.
So that's a big problem with me is I don't have that big resume that everybody else has. I can drive, but they don't have anything that proves it. So they don't want to trust you with it. It's really hard to find people like that.
Nowadays, it's all about wins. You can win, a million championships, but never won a race or whatever. That's not what they want. They want to have pictures with trophies.
Yeah, I mean, we could put you in a car right now in one of Kyle Busch's cars, but you got to have $70,000 to $100,000.
Oh yeah.
Granted, you aren't going to even win close to that much, even if you win the race. But
do you know if all those names they named off, they're going to be there this weekend?
You tell me. Who else is supposed to be out there that you know?
Being that they're young Lions, we never really know. You'd have to actually probably go to 600's website and actually see who's signed up. Because I wouldn't even know, Because I'm paying attention to who's a pro or past championships or names that we're watching. We're looking. I know the Ray Hall kid. He's a young Lion who he won the young Lion race down for the $1 million race.
Oh.
He's here.
Yeah, I saw him. I saw that name a few times over on the right side.
Yeah, Doug Stevens is here. Past champion. We've got a bunch that are. We got Casey Roderick. He won out in Vegas a couple years ago. So we got some boys, and those are the kind of guys that I'm looking at, trying to find out who's got speed.
Well, you got guys that have come virtually from all over the country and out of the country for this race. You got guys that are coming from California, Texas. There's some people that we know that have come from Canada down here to race. I mean, they're just flocking from everywhere, from Florida, from up in New York.
It's a big deal.
It is. Well, when you have a car that you can race anywhere in the country, you can take this car and go all the way to California and still run the car. Make a setup change and go. I've been to Vegas for nationals twice. We've driven all the way out there and done that. I've been to Kansas. They have winter nationals down in Florida in February every year. Usually while the big boys are out practicing, we're racing every night down there in Florida. So, that's one of the big deals about having a Legends car is the fact you can go anywhere you want to go.
Exactly.
It's not like late models or even the modifieds that I run where
they can rules. It doesn't match up. You have to change this. Yeah.
Exactly. The Legends car, the rule book is the same across the nation.
Yeah.
I think up in New Jersey they may have some extra brackets or safety belts that you may have to run for some of the younger kids, but other than that, all 50 states are held by the same rules.
Yeah, a lot of the response also about the names that we read off earlier was mom and pa money too. Bringing in,
I'm sure, yeah.
And also the thing about you got guys out there that are getting money, they ain't that hot. The drivers, and you say, why are they still out there? And I'm not going to get into too awful bad of name calling because a lot of people get pissed if I start mentioning some of the cup drivers that shouldn't even be out there sometimes.
Right.
But anywho, speaking of the cup, did you watch the cup race last weekend?
I think I could see a few laps, and then I had to go work on a race car, of course. So.
I did.
What'd you think of the race there? Tony got most of the laps led.
Mm-hmm.
He was out there running good and hard, and then
Greg Biffle decided to pass him.
Yeah, well, what can we say? He should have moved over, blocked better. I don't know. You have excuses for Tony Stewart fans here.
I got you. I'm sorry, but
Should have him pull over and sit behind you guys for a guest appearance. There's a lot of the girls that are on the chat room. They are Tony Stewart fans.
Yes.
I see. I make a very big point because my car number's 20 to make it not look like his car, orange and white. Because that's
So
the
they don't
first
mix
thing.
it
Then
up.
you're a Joey
Yeah.
Logano guy then.
Yeah, well, now you would be exactly. And I've raced against Joey, and of course when I raced him, he was 3'5", and he actually won the
9 pounds of poop.
Oh yeah, and he was a little firecracker. He won the very first nationals I went to out in Kansas. So it's the first time I'd ever seen him. I had Kyle Busch put me in a wall down at Southern Nationals.
Seems to be a trend.
Yeah, really. Well, that was
See, he helped get back a little bit actually up here.
So speaking of Kyle Busch put somebody on the wall, he did that in the race again Sunday.
Oh, dude.
Got in the. Did you catch it, Roger?
Yeah, it was with Rudiman, wasn't it? Double zero car.
It was a little bit of drama there, but that obviously wasn't on purpose. But Rudiman backed out, and Kyle was too close to react, and ended up hitting David. David lost it, hit the wall. And of course, got the car fixed. 60 laps later, or whatever, came back out and put Kyle in the wall.
Yeah. Kyle's day was pretty much shot.
He was not happy either.
No, he was not. They showed a video of them having their little talk in the garage area.
I figured that was coming. He wouldn't stop talking about the radio. He just kept saying how much of a problem, he has a serious problem with what just happened.
If they don't do anything, if NASCAR doesn't do anything about that, I am totally going to go over and talk.
We're going to have a meeting afterwards.
Yeah. It was not a happy camper.
It bent the car at the bent the track bar or the rear end or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't driving right.
Well, it's sad. I know Jimmy Johnson's crew chief was on one of the NASCAR shows that I saw, and his complaint was they go after each other. How many other cars are going to be involved?
Mm-hmm.
He said there's one thing if you take each other out because you're upset, but consider how expensive those cars are and all the man hours that go into those cars, and then they want to treat them like they're weapons. It's I know if we did that at our local level, they'd park you. They'd send you home and tell you, come back when, next year kind of thing. And it's unfortunate they have so much money and the driver can get so headstrong to go after and do something like that.
They feel safe in the car, nothing's going to happen, so they do that. And
right. It's
think about it later.
Yeah, look at how many of the chase drivers could have gotten involved in the wreck because of the two of them doing something. And that's all those other sponsors, everybody rooting for. Stewart could have come through and got caught something more. Hit a piece of debris and pop a tire sometime, and he ends up in a wall, and all because of them going after each other.
I noticed that a lot lately. Like, if you look back in the years, it wasn't people wrecking each other. It was they'd take a man to man outside the car and deal with it that way. They wouldn't wreck the car because they were had to pay for it then.
Right.
Now they don't have to worry about that as much. They're going at it more with the car, and it's a lot easier for them to do that and get their point across right then and there. And
well, NASCAR's telling them they're going to let the drivers. Let the drivers handle it, That was fine back when you had Earnhardt making sure everything was straight. But, nowadays with the points chase the way it is, and every lap counts. It's sad to see them do that.
It didn't used to be just wrecking it. It would just be maybe bumping them out of the way or something like that. It wasn't just straight up taking them out and ruining their car. It's just getting the message across.
Right.
It's gotten a little out of hand.
Well, you look at what Edwards did at was it Talladega? When he took out the toil car, and put him in the fence. Think how many
Atlanta.
fans. Was it Atlanta? Okay. They could have gotten hurt because of that sucker going up inside the fence.
I think a couple of people did get some cuts and scrapes out of the deal.
I think there were like 8 people or 6 people, something like that.
Just like nothing was serious type stuff. But, you got to think about it. You can't always guarantee when you're going to take somebody out what their reaction is going to be and where they're going to send their own car. Granted, you can come up and tap them in the right rear so their nose turns left into the wall. If they're up close to the wall, you're going to get a nose job out of it. But if you're tapping them on the left rear and they're going to get squirrely, you never know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to hit them. Look at Ryan Newman when he had who was bounce off the top of him.
Oh. He's had a couple. That was
Edwards,
Keselowski.
wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Keselowski.
I thought it was Edwards. Yeah.
That was what started the whole deal with those two.
Yeah. Well, they got together in the Nationwide.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. That
on that
Utah
front
hit the right front. Yeah, that was uncalled for.
Yeah, they're getting dirty. You think about all those other people that had nothing to do with it. And that's probably what even hurts even in our class. Is sometimes you get people that get together, and then you get the innocent bystanders that come along. And at our level, when you're the person behind you has to pay for their equipment, just the same. And here you may have had a good car that now all of a sudden is tore up, and it's going to cost you a couple $1,000s to get it back together. And
that's what I was saying for what Carl did that day. I was saying he should have to pay out of his pocket for all the cars that got involved in that wreck. So to make it hit a little more, what he did.
You're missing all the good stuff kicking up.
Yeah, I've seen a few of it pop up.
Yeah. They love that caution debris thing. Oh god. Well, that's like when we were talking about earlier. out at the track. I mean, we were sitting there over between 1 and 2. Somebody had spun out or something, and they were saying, "Oh, check the track for debris." And I was looking up. I said, "Oh, check in front of where it says Langley Speedway, right in front of the P. There's something white there." Sure enough, it's somebody's water bottle tossed out the window.
Or just like,
but I think it turned out it was actually somebody's overflow.
Right.
I love the ones in the Cup races where they haven't even had anybody hit a wall yet, and then there's a debris caution.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from? You know?
Oh, it probably came off of something that had been taped up, and tape came loose and took a piece of sheet metal with it or something. Who the hell knows?
We always call them racing cautions. They're trying to, make
close
the
it
race
up, make it more exciting.
Trying to make the race tighter and better, for the fans.
They made a point of that in the race Sunday. They said it was like 6th or 7th race in a row where they've had long green flag runs and not a whole lot going on. And so a lot of people like to see that. It's good they're not destroying their cars, wasting money, stuff like that. But they're nobody really close to each other, so it's just kind of.
And then all of a sudden, here's that mystery caution. Yep, here we got them all up side by side.
Usually around 20 to go.
You see it at the local level too. We've seen the late models where there'll be somebody way out front, and all of a sudden you're caution. You're like, where? What happened? And it's they want to get a race for the finish.
Well, I will admit today when I went around the track several times during the 10-minute breaks, I would go out there and I was surprised how many rocks, stuff about yay big.
Yeah.
And it was really funny how all of them, when they fall over someplace, all the sharp edges stick up. So if you guys ever hit them, boy, you're gonna be flat city. And I mean, when they're this tall,
you can't help it.
Does he toss the stuff over? Of course, when the engines come apart too, it's always fun.
I've noticed a few times also where they're like somebody complaining, fluid on the track on their windshield, but they wouldn't throw anything. Depending on who says it, So like Jeff Gore or Jimmy Johnson says, "Oh, caution's out right there."
Oh yeah.
We gotta check to make sure it's dry. Good to go.
Oh god.
Yeah, it happens.
They've stopped every time somebody said there was fluid on the track. The moment somebody got too far out front, they'd be like, "Oh, look at the windshield." So, there's so much more going on behind the scenes that we don't even get to see.
Yeah.
We're just.
Oh yeah, and that's the big part of it. And they can say what they want about what's happening, but there's always something legitimately going on to back it up. And so it's like I said, it's better safe than sorry. So.
There you go. They're as fast as those guys are going, and how easily they can puncture a tire.
Jim, that big, that tall. Somebody's asking how big were the rocks.
Oh, okay.
Big enough if you run over them and puncture your tire, especially if you don't have steel belted.
Yes, for the modified and the late models would be a big deal. With us having a street tire, it's not quite as big a deal for us. But, so you guys got all the fun being able to read all the comments.
Oh yeah.
I don't even
Yes, you need a Facebook account. We're gonna get you to do one of those. Yeah, you're gonna be on there. But some of them. Diane was talking about the 39 thousandths of an inch would have passed for any of the Hendricks teams. Mm-hmm. We know what that refers to. But guess what? You're not who you need to be.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's sad to say when things end up that way, but then again, people that are up front spending the most money, they're the ones that they're going to try and take care of. It happens even at the local level. It may be done unconsciously, but at the same time, they know that they want them out there. And we have cautions, and you're like, hey, the guy leading the points is in the pits. Let's get this thing going. Why are we out here? And they're over there working on the car, giving them extra laps to try to get him back out there. And it's, from the fan standpoint, they want to get him back out there to make more of a race. But from the racer standpoint, it's like, hey, if that was me sitting in there, they wouldn't have got that many laps.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, sometimes you wonder in NASCAR too. You're like, okay, how many tracks so big and yet they have lap after lap after lap?
Yeah, we've seen that a few times.
Talladega, you'd think 2 laps and they should have everything they need cleaned up, but they still go
5, 6 laps.
Yeah, just go on and go on. And
well, then they won't blow it all off, get all the rubber off the track, and clean it for everyone.
Yeah, they're doing more than we can't see. We're only seeing what the cameras want to show us.
And that's what somebody else said. Notice the camera's always pointed on the debris wherever it's at. They'll point that out in a hurry. They'll miss all kinds of other things.
Take it she hasn't texted you back yet.
No, I'm actually reminding you of 745. Trevor.
Oh, they're supposed to call. I got you. He was driving the 32 Modified, wasn't
he? Yeah, he had the cancer awareness car.
All right, I remember I watched on YouTube video and saw
it really sucked. All that nice work and rap they did. I mean, people were calling in and putting on Facebook, messaging them, and they were picking it all up on the phones and everything. and adding each name as they went along. They had over 200 names on the car.
Wow.
Alex Quisnell, he gave me 2 names. I texted it over to Wayne, and Eagle put it on the car, which was cool. But they had a nice little appearance thing and all that stuff, but took off in the beginning of the race, and all of a sudden went from 2nd to 8th and about that fast, and his clutches just started to slip, and then before too long he just couldn't do anything, just have to pull in and watch everybody else have fun.
You could tell something was wrong, right? As soon as they threw the green, everybody took off, and he just kind of drifted back, and like, oh no. And just kind of rode around. They said, ride it till it breaks, and that's what they did. Finally went out on him.
I've been there. I know how it feels. That's probably the worst feeling, is knowing that you had a decent car and something simple ends up breaking instead of you being able to stay out there and run. It's one thing if you look over and there's a part hanging off, but if there's not, it's that you'd like to have still been out there.
They want you guys to talk.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Oh, really?
I'm quiet anyways. It's hard for me to
see this up here.
get picked
Try
up.
to get up to that area. You'd be covered.
You're screaming at each other.
Pretty much.
No, you're not.
So I'm naturally quiet anyway, so I have a hard time doing that every time.
You have to get the little high-tech things like you see on the NFL where it comes up beside you.
You don't even know it's there.
Exactly.
Or a blast area, clip it here. No.
That probably still tell us to speak up.
Oh yeah, they would.
So this way you can actually automatically monitor yourself. I'm the only one that has to sort of yell to make it really kick up, but I have a deep enough voice that it's out there.
Carries.
Yeah, who needs a microphone out there? I just yell at everybody on the line, tell them, Jazz is in the car.
Yeah, well, we're all waiting on you. It's like, he said 10 minutes, and he said 5 minutes. Come on,
Yeah, I'm sitting there, okay, they're bugging the shit out of me. 5 minutes has gone by, 20 minutes ago.
I'm sure it depends on what series, but they're asking what tracks and races are in the Legend series. So,
what traction? What now?
what tracks do the Legends cars run at?
Oh, what tracks? Here in Virginia, we have Langley Speedway, we have Shenandoah Speedway, Manassas Speedway runs. We used to run South Boston. We used to run Southside, Southampton before they closed up. We used to run there. You can go down into Carolina and run. You can go up north and run. We have 3 tracks that run pretty well. You can catch a race every weekend if you want to. And Southside, if we could we're trying real hard to get them back this next year again. They run on Friday nights.
Okay.
So, normally they try to keep the cars down. Langley Speedway is actually a super speedway for a Legends car because it is 4/10. Really, the cars are designed to run third mile, 3/8 mile track is where they prefer to do it because they really don't want us getting close to 100 miles an hour. They've kind of designed the cars so that they don't, if you wreck at that kind of speed,
Yeah.
they can handle it. They figure anything above 100 mile an hour, if you went into a tumble or a roll, the cars really aren't built to take it. So they want to try to limit our speed. So that's why we're not allowed.
Now you've been running Legends for a long time, and I know you were probably friends with Dale Lemons.
Yes, I was the car that he bounced off of before he hit the wall.
Ooh.
Yes, very unfortunate. But the race I won this year was with his motor. Chris Lemons, his son, is actually, which the car I'm running is actually Chris Lemons' car that we purchased from him. He decided that he wants to go a different direction, so we picked it up off of him. And the motor that I was running most of the year actually said Dale Lemons on the head, where Larry McBride had built it 10 years ago and had been sitting on the floor. And Chris has decided he wanted to sell a bunch of stuff off, and unfortunately we had broken a motor earlier in the year and needed one, and he had it, and it's been in the car. And so I was grateful to actually be in Victory Lane, Dale Lemons Victory Lane, and having his motor in, which who knows at one point in time back, I might have been racing against that motor, and now I had it in the car, and so that was great. So.
I hate to use this as a parable, but you got Kenny Schrader, who was the last one to tap senior.
Right.
Before it all happened too. In case you didn't know, Dale Lemons was.
I figured that out.
Car.
I figured that out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, the sad part is the main reason that he ended up passing away on us was because of the lack of head restraint.
Yeah.
The car actually, fared very well. It would have been repairable as far as the damage that was done to it. It could have normally been fixed with no big deal. But Dale chose to run with an open face helmet and no neck restraint, no anything that wraps around to try and slow the helmet down. And unfortunately, the car hit so perfect into the wall that his head had lunged forward and stretched his neck, and that ended up what got him. So it was sad that, knowing that if he'd had a full face helmet and a head restraint, he'd still be here today.
Yeah. Now, was it you know, but senior Dale on that?
Oh, I'm talking about Dale Emmons.
Oh, okay.
As far
a lot of
as
the stuff you're talking about with
either way,
senior
it's
is
the same-
basically the
same
same thing. But see, now the other thing senior like to do too is that when the race got going on and on and on, he had a tendency to loosen up
right.
his belts.
Yep.
And that's a lot of where his problems came from too. Actually, somewhere I have a lot of the inside pictures of the car.
Right. Well, they're very similar as far as the way they hit. They both hit, nose straight on, both in the gas pretty hard. It's I feel bad for, of course I'm going to talk about Dale's incident because it was here, is that Chris Lemons was the one that was actually behind him trying to get him out of the way so that we could go on. So he got his dad out of the way, and I happened to be behind Chris, and unfortunately Dale was trying to squeeze in behind me to not fall any further back and clip my bumper, and that's what caused the whole incident. So, poor Chris here, he had just gotten his dad moved up out of the way the lap before, comes back around and sees Carl tore up and have that. And I was more worried. I saw in the mirror the car spinning and hitting the wall and parts flying, and all I could think about was Dale was going to be standing outside the car wanting to throw his helmet at me because I tore up his favorite race car.
Yeah.
I never even considered the way he hit that it was going to end up the way it did.
But hey, it was something he loved to do.
He did.
He would be out there in a moment anyway.
And he had actually told us when we showed up to sign in at the track that day, he was sitting on the bleachers out there and said he had just signed the contract to purchase the track, and he was going to start running it. And his eyes were just lit up. He said he had so many ideas of what he wanted to do. He wanted to bring Langley Speedway back to the top. And so we were really excited about having somebody that, with Dale's mind and the people he knew and his money background to put into the track to really bring things back up. And Mullins has done an excellent job. With having the Nationals coming in this year, one of the things they asked him to do was add the inside runoff, and Mullins did that, and it's really, really helped the racing this year from a car driver standpoint. And I know with Rex and everything that's going on, it's nice to have that happen. So Mullins has done an excellent job the way the track's been run this year. It's actually been fun to come back to Langley Speedway and race. With having him running the show. So
even as a fan, just going there and watching, it's nice to watch, and it's enjoyable. Actually, you're not bored ever. It's just there's something always going on. And even if there's no racing, they're talking, getting you involved with stuff. And, it's done right, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's he's got to compete against the movie theaters. Considering the $10 to get in, you could just as easily go to the theater.
Well, it used to be cheaper for the theaters. Now the theaters have gone up, and people are saying, well, for pretty much most of the time, when I've talked with Bill and Chuck, they've said that things have been continuously getting better. The people appearance out there has been really good. It hasn't been like it used to be in the old times where they packed the stands on the first couple of nights, but they've come pretty close. And when we've had some of the big races out there, hey, they've been going in there and packing them out. I've looked at the parking lot and said, where in the hell are they putting everybody at?
It's been nice having for his support is what's done it. He's wanting to pay people to to come out and race. He's making sure that we get our money for our racing, which really helps. We're keeping the purse up, and so and he's bringing in these big races, which is bringing in all these other big drivers that want to come out and see what things doing. And I know when he brought the Southern Modifieds in, those things were wild. It was fun just watching them.
Yeah, I talked with the beginning of the year with some of the ARCA, president and CEO of ARCA, about trying to get them down at Langley, trying to get a happy median to where they bring the ARCA races to Langley. So,
well, we had the Pro Cup here the last couple of years, so it's kind of where we gotta have to work our way up to it. Keep proving what these slightly lower series is, and if they talk good about us, maybe he'll be able to swing something like that. Unfortunately, Langley's probably a little small for some of the really bigger series, so I want to be in 4/10. But
Parker runs a lot of smaller tracks like that.
Yeah, so they run small tracks like Langley.
It wouldn't be bad.
They've been here before. ASA's been here before.
Right.
It's the dollar. I'll tell you, that's the thing. The dollar figure. What's going to be. I know what one side wanted to do, and know what the other side wanted to do, and you couldn't get to where. Okay, let's line up. But it is what it is, as somebody once said.
Right. It would be nice to see the big boys come out.
Yeah.
See what kind of speeds they can do. It's really fun to see the bigger cars from those series come out, and how much extra horsepower they've got, and then see how their lap times rate compared to what our local guys are doing, because I think the Pro Cups were actually slower than our local late models.
Yeah, they were.
They were. I was timing them all.
They just
surprised.
Nobody had the setting set up for the track.
I think they're heavier. They're carrying a little extra weight.
3,400. We were 3,200 in late
Yeah, I
model.
think we're 32.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same as a Cup car, aren't they? Or an old or a nationwide car.
Yeah. I know they're a little
just
heavier.
right around there. Yeah, they're heavier.
That's what I'm saying. I think late models are 3,200. I think they're 3,400. I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I don't know late models. I know they're.
Well, no, I know the late models are 3,200.
Right.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I think they're 34, 35. And here we're running out there with the modifieds, and, 2,600 pounds.
Well, that sounds like it's a Trevor ring if I ever heard one.
Yes, sir.
It's not a Trevor ring. It's a Caitlin.
Right.
Huh?
It's a Caitlin ring, yeah.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, Trevor Edwards was supposed to be also calling about this time. What happened, girl?
Well, I had another meeting that ran long.
Oh, goodness.
I apologize.
That's all right. We know how you are.
Yeah, great.
We got with us at the show tonight, we got Cameron Patrick. He runs some of the modified races in the area. He's track champion a couple of times over in the modified division. Also running in the INAX National Championship that they're having this week at Langland Speedway. It's going to be it's turned into 4 days of fun now instead of 3. They decided to have an open practice today from about noon till 5.
Oh, wow.
We've been having fun talking with him.
Well, that's great.
How you been doing today?
Pretty good. Had some...
And there's Trevor. Hold on, and there's Trevor calling.
Double whammy.
Oh, wait till it rings. It cuts out every time it rings.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Still there, Caitlin? All right, cool. What were you saying? Sorry, you got cut off there.
Oh, no, so just had some promising sponsorship meetings, so that's good, and I'm getting ready for my test next week with the DGM Racing and the Oil Medics truck, so it's looking pretty good.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see.
No questions yet.
I don't know. I haven't been here a couple weeks. I don't know what all since she started coming on. So
What kind of truck are you going to be running?
The Camping World Truck Series?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
At
Oh,
Phoenix?
Phoenix. There you go.
Yeah. So we're going down to South Georgia Motorsports, I believe, next Friday, and we're gonna get ready to test there and just kind of get everything shaken down with the truck, get fitted in the seat and everything, because the truck's down in Florida. So it's kind of all coming together now.
That's always good to hear.
Go play with the big boys. When is the race at Phoenix?
It's November 12th.
Number 12.
What'd they miss? What'd they miss?
No, I was just talking about our test session that's going to be down in Georgia.
Oh, cool. Oh, so you got all that lined up and ready to go then?
Yep. We're gonna I'll drive down Thursday night, and we're gonna test all day Friday, and it'll be good. Marianne's really gonna just kind of work with me on getting familiar in the truck, maybe do some practice pit stops, that kind of a thing.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to add Trevor on to the show with us here.
Oh,
Oh, nope, I didn't hang up on her. I just need to... Still there? All right, let's try this again. You still there?
yeah.
Okay, good. I pushed the wrong button. There we go. There we go. Trevor, you there too?
Yes, sir.
Hey, modern technology strikes back.
Too many flashing lights.
Yeah, too many flashing lights on these damn phones. You got Caitlin Shaw in the background there with you. I don't know if you've ever met Caitlin or not.
No, I haven't.
That's too bad. She's a really nice person to meet. Anywho, we've also got Cameron Patrick on here, Trevor.
Cool.
You know that name. Anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Caitlin. Go ahead with what you were going with.
We were just talking about the test session coming up, and I had a few sponsorship meetings today, so hopefully we'll get some more sponsorship in addition with the Oil Medics and get going to Phoenix.
Cool.
What team are you racing for?
DTM Racing with Mario Gosselin,
Okay. I've watched Mario.
the 72 truck.
Okay.
72. Now we know who to root for.
Exactly. I'll be watching.
Good.
You better beat Mario. I've been watching him since I was a little kid.
Well, I don't know. He has a lot more experience in trucks than I do, but I'm definitely looking to learn.
Oh, yeah. He'll definitely teach you a lot, I'm sure. So, very good person to have.
Definitely.
Is this your first time going to be in a truck?
I ran a truck last year at ORP, but this will be my first race this year in the truck. So I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while, but definitely looking forward to it. I raced there in the midget with the USAC midgets, and so I'm familiar with the track a little bit, but never in a stock car, so that'll be a big difference for me.
Sounds like a blast to me.
Sounds like a lot of work to me. Going from a midget to a cup truck, boy. Smaller tire, more weight, more horsepower. That's going to be kind of wild, won't it?
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be really different. With the midgets, you're hardly ever off the gas, so I think that's gonna be the biggest difference. Getting my throttle points and stuff like that.
Yeah. Of course, having that much more power, you just spin the tires easier, so which makes it more fun to drive, in my opinion. I like doing that.
Should have more technical side with crew chiefs and everything else going on with the truck versus the little car, correct?
Yes, there's really the only person that can talk to you in the USAC midget is the officials, and they only tell you like if there's yellow or something. So then with the crew chiefs and everything, that'll be a bit of a change for me also. But I've listened enough traveling with the teams that I'm more familiar with that. So it's not. I don't think that's going to be as big of an issue for me as really my throttle points and making the pit stop.
Now, Caitlin, just to let you know, Trevor's father, Wayne Edwards, you've heard that name before in the truck series?
Definitely.
Then you know who his father is.
Yes, I do.
So now, did you already know who Trevor was?
Yeah, I definitely. It sounded familiar when you said it, and now I can definitely put it together.
Trevor, why are you being so quiet? You're normally more talkative than this.
I'm just sitting here listening to her.
Put your 2 cents in there, boy. Good. And I was so sorry to see how things went at the Rolling Thunder Modified race.
Yeah, that was a big disappointment. Qualifying outside front row and breaking a clutch on the start.
Yeah.
Pretty much damage control to lap 37 when it gave out.
Yeah, I had some friends that said that was the quickest they ever seen somebody go from 2nd to 8th in their life.
That's the quickest I've ever been second to eighth. Around 8th to 2nd.
But yeah. Now I will tell you this: a lot of people like that car.
Yeah.
Caitlin, he had a car for the cancer awareness. They did a total wrap of a modified with the ribbons all over it.
Oh, wow.
And they had a link on Facebook that you could message them, and they were putting names on the car. People were asking, how much does it cost to get my name on the car? And the very simple answer is nothing. It's free. If you got some money you want to do something, donate to the cancer awareness. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Tell her about it, Trevor.
We're doing a wrap. We did it for Langley, and we're going to North Wilkesboro with it. It's a completely pink car with a little bit of black on it and all ribbons. We got 350 names on it. We're looking for 500. So if you have any names or any of the listeners have any names to send in, just go to my Facebook or Kevin Eagle's Facebook and send them to us. It's all free. It's all about, if you want to send a donation to Susan G. Komen, that's fine. If not, just send us your names.
Oh, that's great. That's a really neat promotion.
I mean, if you go to his Facebook page, you'll see all the pictures of, I think, didn't Eagle say he was posting them on there, all 200 plus of every name?
I think Eagle has 215 names or photos of all the ribbons, individual ribbons, on Facebook already. He's having fun with that.
Oh, God. So y'all are, where you say you're heading to next?
North Wilkesboro, October 30th. Hopefully we can go there and test the 15th. That'll be I've never even seen the track, never seen a YouTube video of the track or anything. When we go there the 15th, that'll be pretty cool to see that, all the history that's behind it.
I love that track, so that'll be a blast that y'all get to go there. I wish I could go.
They got iRacing set up for that track?
Not yet.
We don't have iRacing for there. Master 2003 has it, but it's just not up to date.
Yes, it does.
I'm at iRacing right now.
You're on it right now?
Hey, you got to practice
No,
that.
I didn't know I was doing an interview tonight until about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I told you Saturday. I said, we want to put you on there Wednesday night no matter what.
I thought you were joking with me.
Oh, goodness. Now we'll put you to the spot now, bud.
I know, I just can't even prepare for anything or nothing. Just going off the top of my head now.
Gonna feed you beans and weenies for the next week or something.
Hey, you grabbed me at the track like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, that's true.
So-
He does
That's
that.
true. I was telling Cameron here. I've been talking with Jennifer Jo Cobb since she finally got to do her nationwide race, and she was going to be on here tonight. And then at the last minute, a local radio station she had some ties with, they did a charity auction apparently, and she was the date, or she was the date for whoever won. So I told her we'll have to talk about that one another time. So she's doing that tonight, so it'll be interesting. What was that?
That'll be an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Depending on who won.
Yeah, I'd be curious who won, yeah.
Exactly.
But Jennifer's really good. She's very level-headed. She's usually pretty laid back. Don't get her pissed off. She could probably come at you like Danica did that one time we saw her going at whoever it was.
I think
few
she'd be
times.
more scary than Danica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, poor Caitlin. Caitlin, you're about Danica size, though, aren't you?
She's actually a little smaller than I am. I sat next to her in the rookie meeting, and she had heels on, and she was about my height with her heels on. So
Oh, that girl show up in heels.
Yeah, we're going to show up in heels to go racing. There you go. That's a really good thing to hear.
Probably had her sponsor name on her shoes.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Junior Motorsports on there.
There you go.
Go, Daddy.
Go daddy.
Go daddy shoes. Oh, God. There you go. Caitlin, I think you could qualify as a GoDaddy girl.
I would pretty much take any sponsorship right now.
She can be bought.
Who was it? We had, oh, God. One of the, Valerie Thompson, she is a drag racer on motorcycles. She used to be one of the GoDaddy girls. We had her on a few months ago, and oh my God, she was giving us all the info and all that stuff. Y'all should have been around for that one. Some of the stuff they put them through. Woo! But anyway, that's for another story.
Another Wednesday.
Another
Yes.
Wednesday, there you go. Our target is always try to end this thing at 8 o'clock. You know how many times we've done it?
Probably none.
Very rarely.
Yeah. We had Carl Long on one night. We were here till 20 after 10.
Wow.
Okay. Kyle Petty was to 9:20 one night. He was supposed to be on for 15 minutes only. And he said, that's all I can spare. And we asked him a couple of questions, and that was all it took. And one of them was about Danica Patrick. And oh my God, that was one hell of a show, though. We get some of the guys together. We had Matt Mullins and Mike Leach in here one night when we were doing it out in the trailer and everything, and those guys stayed in there till 8:30, 9 o'clock easily. And there's quite a few nights we hit 9 o'clock before we shut down. And it's just who we get on the show. Like we get Caitlin on here, get her going, and I tell you what, put a quarter in her, and she's ready to roll. And then with Trevor there, if you get him on a good win, he's ready to
Mark
talk about it. Huh?
So I put Mark Schmuck.
Oh no, not the Schmuckmeister. Oh God.
Yeah.
Put Mark Schmuck on here too. Oh my God. He's a Jack. Oh, it used to be Jack Man. He's now the gas man for Timothy Peters. On the truck team. Oh my God.
You'll get some laughs out of that one too.
Oh jeez. He will actually, if he can, get on another phone and call other people to come into the chat room or come watch the show. Or sometimes we'll have a regular line for people that are in the chat room that they can call in and ask questions if they don't want to type in the answer questions. And Oh my God, it gets rolling. One of the people that were in the chat room earlier works for Mike Helton, and so we've had some pretty good feedback from there because we don't hold back on anything. The one night she thought poor Mike Helton was going to pee in his pants, and he was laughing so hard at some of the subjects we were covering. That's enough for me. I'm taking up all the time. You guys are supposed to be talking now. Come on.
I don't know anything about it.
I'm talking about them.
Oh.
They're listening to you.
Oh, okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Trevor, your dad was telling me a little bit about something about what you guys might having planned and rolling for next year. You got anything to elaborate on it yet, or is that all still in the works?
Dad usually doesn't tell me anything that's going to happen within the next year or two. He just lets me focus on the next race at hand. I mean, the only thing that I know that could happen is drive the Race 101 on that late model.
Uh-huh.
And that's my biggest thing that he told me so far.
Uh-huh. Then I won't tell you what he told me then. No, I'll have to just leave that alone and let him tell you.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be a surprise.
Hey, it's your birthday! Surprise! Caitlin, after your truck test, what do you got going on after that?
Well, we're still pushing about Trucker of the Week program, so that's kind of all we're doing with that. But then we're just kind of sitting around and waiting for the race to come.
So, there's been some interesting comments on there. Karen, heard you talk about Mike Helton and was asking who worked for him.
Yeah, I'm not going to say. She can say who if she, if she wants to. That's her choice. We get a lot of nice people. And I always tell everybody, you never know who's going to be watching.
That's anywhere you go, though.
Yeah,
any racetrack, anything, TV.
And with the show is so easy to be inconspicuous and incognito. You're just out there and can watch it, and nobody knows you're there.
Yep.
I had one night I took and actually looked. We had over 5,000 people watching the show. So you get a lot of people out there, and granted, you might get 15, 20 people in the chat room, but a lot of people just
sit and watch.
They just want to watch. They don't want to get involved if they can, but
I need a marker that says "need a sponsor" for my shirt.
There you go.
Yeah, we don't have one.
But Caitlin, did you get any new sponsors for this coming year?
Still working on some, but I believe that we'll definitely having the oil medics and community health care service, and then I had some meetings today, so hopefully we can keep going on those.
Okay, good. Is this going to be enough for a full season, or you still need to drum up more?
Still needs more for a full season, but hopefully a pretty good partial schedule.
Cool. And nothing like a nice $15, $20 million sponsor to come along and help out.
Definitely.
Trevor says if you have any extra, send him this way.
I'll be there.
Same goes to you.
There you go.
I'll thank you in every interview I do.
There you go.
At least a good thing with having a partial year set up already is that you can get more people attracted by what you do on the track. So
yeah, get out there, you kick some butt, and get some airtime. Hopefully not bad airtime.
Yeah.
And then people get a chance to see you moving up through the ranks, and if they could only give you as much attention as they did to the Danica thing, you'd have it made.
Oh, definitely.
The good point is she got the woman awareness kicked up and going.
Right.
But then the backside is you got a lot of people that think she should have done a Euro ARCA or K&N and before getting in, like some of the other drivers like Arpin and.
Oh yeah. They're still coming up through.
Yeah, I mean Arpin's still running ARCA.
Matt DiBenedetto is another one.
Yeah. There's quite a few out there that.
When she did run the East Series, then a lot of people gave her a hard time for running the East Series. So I think she's not. I don't know if there was a win situation there for her.
There's not.
Probably not.
There's always going to be criticism of whatever you do.
Exactly.
Everybody has their own opinion on what's the best way to go and what's the best thing to do.
It's more of the opportunity opened up and she took it. and that's what you should do.
Yeah.
The opportunity is there, take it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she talked to a lot of people. I mean, she went to Tony Stewart, talked to him quite a bit because, hey, he was open-wheel driver. She's coming from the same thing, and hey, what do you think, Tony? And it was nice that she did go to people that would be knowledgeable.
Right.
We have a question
You got another
for
question?
Caitlin. How much input does a driver have in the meetings?
The what?
How much input does the driver have in the meetings?
Let's specify.
I reckon we're trying to figure out what type of meetings.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about you were in a meeting earlier.
Probably sponsor meetings.
Oh, well, in my sponsor meetings, I have a lot of, because I do it all myself for my sponsorship. I don't have a sales and marketing team. So, really, I am my own sales and marketing team. So I have to present my sales deck to the company and do that sort of a thing. But at Michael Waltrip, the driver doesn't have a whole lot of influence in the initial meetings. But then once we gain interest, then we'll bring the driver in. So, and then at Michael Waltrip, since we have a wide variety of drivers, then if the sponsor doesn't fit well with one of our drivers, we can bring in another driver and see if that chemistry is there with that sponsor and that driver. So it's a little bit different, just different scenarios on how big your team is and then which drivers you have and with which personalities.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
You gotta get along with them if they're gonna give you the money.
Right.
And so then they followed up and said, what about the drivers' meetings?
Well, in the drivers' meetings, like at the track, you can ask questions and stuff, but mostly that's just the officials that are telling you, how the day is going to play out, any specific changes to the schedule, that sort of just informative meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Jim says thank you for answering the question.
Well, it's nice to know that, granted, I'm way too far away from the microphone, I'm sure, that a lot of the people that are out here in the chat room are at least following everything, and our guests don't always get that chance to jump in there in the chat room with them, unless they're here live, or unless they don't have a Facebook account.
Another question.
Yeah. Oh, another question.
Are you a development driver for Michael Waltrip Racing? They caught that in there, so.
Unfortunately, I'm not a development driver.
Okay.
Right now, they're marketing me as the fastest intern in NASCAR because I do put a lot of hours in the shop there. But I'm not a development driver.
Okay.
Have you looked to talking to anybody, Trevor, about trying to be a development driver for anybody?
JTG is probably the biggest one. I know the Marcos Ambrose's crew chief pretty well, so I'm trying to talk to them. And Brad hinted something about Junior Motorsports, but I'm not really sure about that.
Why not?
Junior Motorsports. Oh boy. Well, I mean, that one of the things I talked with Steve Arkin about was he went there and was going to do the driving and was going to take and do it when Danica wasn't racing, and all of a sudden,
Now he's gone.
and he was running good.
Oh yeah.
He was top 15s, and he came from the ARCA series.
We wouldn't do any ARCA stuff or anything like that. It'd be more focused on their late model team.
That's what you think now. Now, he did say some stuff about late model, but he also said that y'all also trying to look into. He's going to try to see what he can find about some ARCA and possibly a little bit of truck for him and a little bit of truck for you. You get that, Trevor?
What'd you say?
Well, heck with you. I ain't going to repeat it, please. I said he already said he was going to work with, trying to do some stuff with the late model, but he said he was also looking at trying to get you something set up for some ARCA racing and some truck, as well as himself getting back into trucks.
Yeah, he's looking to get back in the truck that, tracks that I'm not cleared for. Like, the only track I'd be cleared for really is Bristol and Martinsville. And the ARCA car, we were trying to go to Rockingham this weekend, but we thought it was going to be a conflict in our schedule, and then they just changed it a little bit ago, so they didn't have time to really take the car and be right. We're not going to go to the racetrack and go for a top 20 finish. We're going to go for a top 10, top 5 finish.
Got another question for pretty much everyone in here. What tracks in North Carolina do y'all run on? Somebody's wanting to know.
Hickory and North Wilkesboro is our only ones in North Carolina, really. Coastal Plains is supposed to run, but they ended up canceling because of a hurricane that's going to come through same weekend. So most of our races are in Virginia.
And Caitlin?
I've raced late models mostly in Hickory, and I've tested the midgets out there. But Hickory is pretty much the only track I've run on in North Carolina. I raced once or twice at Concord Motorsports Park. That's it.
Now, you were part of the Drive for Diversity, weren't you, Caitlin?
Yes.
Somebody had a question in there, was wanting to know what is the Drive for Diversity. You want to field that one?
Sure. I did it. I was a part of the combine in 2008, and what they do is you submit your application to it's Revolution Racing NASCAR that's handling it now, and the combine is actually next week, so submissions are already over with for this coming year. But then they'll take you, and you have like 2 days of testing, I believe, in a Legends car and a late model, and then you're basically trying out for this spot. I believe they take 30 kids, is how they did it when I was in the combine. 30 drivers that are female or minority. And then you try out for these 8 to 10 spots. And some of the drivers will get K&N East Series rides, and then some will get late model rides. And then now they're doing it all under Revolution Racing, the Revolution Racing banner. So all of those drivers are teammates, and they compete at local tracks in North Carolina, Virginia, and then they do the national series with the K&N East and the K&N West series.
Okay. Cool.
Sounds like a good deal.
Really? I wonder if I can do it if you're bald.
You can try.
Hey, what the heck? I knew you and quite a few other people that I've talked to been in the Drive for Diversity. A lot of good stuff and a lot of bad stuff as well. There were some teams that took the money, they come out there, set the car out there, here, go hop in and ride, and they sat in lawn chairs while the driver went around, came back in, pulled the car in, hoping to get some adjustments. It was like the Days of Thunder, we're eating ice cream type thing, you know, and
Right.
and then they go to try to get somebody to help them, and no way, they wouldn't let them touch the car.
Right. I think that's why they moved it all under one banner now, because before they would just give teams, when I did it, they gave teams money, and then the teams picked the drivers, and NASCAR really didn't have a whole lot of influence in it. So I think now that's why they brought it under one shop.
Well, thank goodness it's a lot better.
How come she missed out?
Huh?
So how come you missed out on the diversity?
I didn't try out this year. I didn't submit my application. I really wanted to focus on running the truck, and rather than the late models and stuff. But I kind of wish I would have.
So what happened in '08?
In 2008, I made the combine, but I didn't do the. I did the combine in 2008, but I didn't take the ride in 2009 because I was going to do my first truck race.
So do you regret that now, or are you glad with the direction you went?
No, I'm glad with the direction I went. I got to be at the racetrack almost every weekend, so I met a lot of people, and that's where it's taught me now. I think that that first year, if I would have gotten sent to Washington or California area, I wouldn't have gotten the same. I wouldn't have made the same connections and relationships that I would have now.
There you go. Connections, social networking.
There you go. If you don't have the name, you got to have the network.
There you go.
Exactly.
Oh goodness. What else you got going on, Trevor?
We're gonna try to go do a Daytona test for the ARCA car this year. Rolling Thunder modified next year full time, and hopefully I pass in CRA late model part time next year. Just big races.
Sounds good. I'll be watching for sure.
Yeah. You got a lot of people that'll be watching you. That's for sure.
Are you going to run the North or the South Series for the Rolling Thunder?
We have to run the South because we're located in North Carolina.
So are they looking to change the rules big time for the South to bring in the Southern cars, or are they going to try closer to the North?
I don't really know yet. I think they're going to talk about doing something on weight. I think that's the only thing that I've heard about. But we're allowed to run North races when we want to, so we'll probably come to Langley and South Boston, places like that.
Cool. Oh.
I've been to Langley 2 times now, haven't been made over 37 laps, so.
You haven't even learned to love it yet.
No, we blew up 4 laps in the practice lap the first time we went there, and then this time qualified outside front row and broke the clutch on the first lap.
Just means you got to win here, and then you'll be all right.
If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
They told me that if I won, I'd be the first person that wasn't living in Virginia to win a race at Langley. So.
Third time's a charm, so when you come back, you'll be all right.
Yeah, but Caitlin, we got to get you to come out here sometime and play.
There you go.
I'd love to.
You put her in a Legends car.
Hey, Cameron knows where lots of those are.
So remember, we got 2 modifieds.
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go ahead and get out of here. So Trevor can go back to doing a little bit of racing and get ready for the next track.
I gotta do some homework in a minute.
And Caitlin can go relax after her little meeting she had.
I said I might join you on iRacing there, Trevor.
I might be on a little bit later. I gotta do some homework right now.
Yeah, you guys, did you ever get up with him and
Brody?
everybody and get up with them, be in the same league and stuff?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna.
All these people we have on the show, everybody says, "Oh yeah, we run iRacing," and one of these days we're going to everybody get hooked up, and who knows, maybe we'll have one large race of just everybody.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, Dan Brody is supposed to be on there. I couldn't find him on there, so I don't know what name he uses. So I got to figure that out.
Yeah. We can always call him later.
Oh yeah.
Well, Trevor, it was nice being able to talk to you again.
All right.
Oh,
Be on tonight.
How did you enjoy the Martinsville race, by the way?
Oh god, the heat races were way better than feature because all they did was wreck each other. It was wild. First, I walked through the gate, and the first thing I saw was a helmet flying. Today's gonna be a good race.
That's always a good sign.
Did you go to that race, Caitlin?
No, I didn't make it up there. I wish I would have, though.
Oh my God.
Morris pretty much killed him. I mean, it was him and Devin Seitz or something like that, but he ended up getting disqualified.
Yeah.
I had a call finish second.
Yep. Who is it? Well, Hudson went up there to work with Timothy Peters, and we know Mark Schmuck, and he was up there too.
Yeah, we actually went and sat outside them until they went down the pit.
Yep. And then, what was it? Oh my God. Oh, I know what it was. I was on some place that they were talking about the race and everything, and I think it was race 22 or something like that. I told him, I said, if Morris wins, I told him he needed to check the brake lines and the steering column. There was a car I found that he used to own that he won 40 out of 50 races in '09, and they took the brake lines and the steering column out of the car. I'll leave that for your own minds to think what you need to think. But anyway, all right, Caitlin, you go ahead and have a good night, and we will talk to you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
Thank you so much. I will see you at 7.
But you're all right. If you got a meeting, that's fine.
I shouldn't have a meeting, but if I do, I'll
text me, please. All right, Caitlin, you have a good night. Anybody else you want to thank real quick before you hop off? Because we always do that for you.
Medic, for being a sponsor, and I'm excited to go testing next weekend in the Oil Medics truck.
There you go.
Cool.
Thank you guys very much, and good luck in your racing, Trevor.
Thank you. You too.
Trevor, you want to do your last nickel?
I just want to thank
You can stick
Craig
around.
Temp, my mom, and my dad, and just remind everybody to keep going on Facebook and adding those names. We want 500 before North Wilkesboro, which is the 30th. We're up to 350 now, so just keep sending them in.
350?
Yeah, we added like 100 after Langley.
You ain't got any room left on the car. What are you doing on the underside now?
I think we're going to start doing that. We're going to start just make the whole car pink, put some ribbons on it.
There you go.
Oh, goodness. You're going to start taking your helmet next, your suit, bottom of your feet?
It's supposed to be a pink suit, and I was really excited about it, but they decided not to do it.
Oh, goodness. All right, well, you have a good night, and we will talk to you another time. Tell your dad I said hi.
All right, thank you for having me on again.
All right, no problem. Be safe.
Thank you, bye.
Where are you out?
Oh, goodness. put my contacts back in today. I'm trying to get reacclimated from wearing my glasses. But anyway, Caitlin's a nice hard charger.
Sound like it.
Yeah. She's done. The reason she does her own stuff, she is already doing marketing for other drivers as well. And that's actually how I came to meet her. She approached me and said, "Hey, can we put so and so on the show?" That she was trying to help marketing. So things just rolled right along, and next thing you know, her and I are good friends now, and so we now have a 15-minute segment that she gets to come in, and she does her own reporting. And
It's gonna be tough trying to find sponsors for other people and yourself.
oh yeah, I mean, hey, you got you got lots of big name people out there. Somebody pointed out earlier in the chat room how much the big sponsors are pulling out, and who knows, maybe you'll get them coming and trickling down. I have people that contacted me. They want to try to find sponsors for their riding lawnmower racing stuff. But I mean, those suckers get up to about 100 miles an hour.
I'll move.
I mean, geez, did you see how little stuff they have on there? And these guys race for a trophy and bragging rights. That's it. They don't even get paid to race
For fun.
and they spend $20,000 to $30,000 a year doing it.
Some of the best racing in the country is for a trophy.
Yeah.
Just everybody getting out there having a good time.
Do you by chance know who Roman Pemberton is sponsoring or spotting for? Not sponsoring.
I do have that answer. You have to give me a moment. Roman and I have been messaging back and forth about that. And I think, give me a second here.
I know Ryan. I don't know Roman. So.
Somebody just had to ask
We
a question.
were talking about
prepared for.
having Roman on the show here soon.
Okay.
He said he's got some good stories.
I can't wait. Hopefully not next Wednesday.
Oh, we suck to be you, huh?
Yes. Well, yeah. I can't even watch it then. I'll be out next Wednesday. I gotta go down to Mississippi for training.
Mm.
Yes.
Well, at least you're going when it's a little cooler.
Yes. I was stationed down there, so I know how the summer can be. Not
So,
fun.
I did 2 years in Biloxi.
Okay. Yep. That's where I'm going. Exactly where I'm going.
Being a military brat, I've been everywhere.
Okay, Roman Pemberton is spotting for Dave Blaney.
Oh.
He does the suspension and brakes for all the front row motorsports cars, and he also spots for Michael McDowell in the Nationwide Series.
I should know the Blaney one. I'm a big Blaney fan.
You suck.
Wow. I'm slacking.
You're a slacker. We know it.
That's all right. Well, we didn't get to do the results of the weekend, though. Should we go ahead and do that then before we get off here?
What's that?
Go over the results over the weekend, what all happened?
Oh, goodness.
We don't have to.
Hey, that was Matt's thing. He's out playing tonight.
Yeah.
I
I mean, at least for the Cup and Nationwide. People
you
who
got it
watch
up on the screen? Go
Yeah,
for it.
I do. For anyone who's curious, didn't get to see the race, Nationwide race, they were racing at, was it Kansas? I believe.
Kansas.
It was Kansas. And Brad Keselowski ended up winning that one, pretty much ran the whole thing. And Carl Edwards got second, Paul Menard third, Justin Allgaier fourth, Mike Bliss fifth, Brad Coleman sixth, Reed Sorensen, Stephen Wallace, Scott Riggs, and Matt DiBenedetto. A lot of Nationwide guys in the top 10.
It was nice to see that.
Yes.
But we're still trying to. I want to get up with Justin if I can to see if getting the inside scoop what's happening since they're going to lose Verizon for a sponsor. And
There's only 3 Cup guys in the top 10.
that's good. Keep your butts out of there.
Oh yeah, that's really good to see.
Nationwide guys need to win money.
The Cup side of it, I opened the wrong one. They also ran Kansas, and Greg Biffle ended up winning. It's been a while since he's been in victory lane, so it's real nice to see that. Jimmy Johnson just can't seem to stop him at the end of the year. He got second. Kevin Harvick, he's been around all year long, got third. And of course, our man Tony Stewart got fourth.
Yay, Tony!
Gordon came at fifth, Carl Edwards sixth, Matt Kenseth seventh, Paul Menard eighth, Ryan Newman ninth, and AJ Allmendinger 10th. Starting to see Paul Menard up there quite a bit. Every week.
He's being quiet but being up there.
I think next year, since he'll be at the RCR, it'll be nice to see better, well, I wouldn't say better equipment, he's got good equipment now, but It'll be interesting to see how if he does any better or how much better. Different people working, you learn different things, so it might work out different.
Who's your favorite driver?
Well, I'm a Ford
other than
guy.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm a Ford guy.
Another Ford.
Yeah, I know. I like Carl Edwards, Biffle and Kenseth. Usually anybody driving a Ford and whoever's in front of Gordon is usually who I root for.
He's a member of the FAG group.
There you go.
Fans against Gordon.
Well, he's kind of tailed off here the last few years, so it's not really a big deal. Nowadays, you almost want to root for anybody in front of Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, it's a trade-off. So he's been on here the last 10 races, the last 4 years, and just can't seem to get by him. So you'd almost like to see the chase change just to be able to beat him, but at the same time, it doesn't mean you're still going to beat him. He's found a way.
Well, exactly.
You remember the first year they went to the chase, and I don't remember who actually won that year. Kurt Busch.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who would have if they didn't do the chase?
I don't remember.
Tony.
Gordon.
Really?
He made sure he mentioned that. You guys, I actually won the
I
championship.
think they've only had that like 1 or 2 years out of the whole time they've been doing it, where the points would have ended up differently.
Yeah, I used to run a fantasy racing, and we had it set up so it ran the old style points and not the chase points, so I could always see who would have won the championships. But still got more questions coming in.
They're talking about nationwide drivers being in Cup or Cup guys being in nationwide races or not.
Well,
just put in. They shouldn't be there every weekend, and that's what they're going to next year. And if they are there, they shouldn't get allowed to run for the championship. It should just be the actual nationwide guys in it.
Well, there's a couple of different variants. They're going to limit them to the amount of races they can run,
Yeah.
and or no points
Mm-hmm.
for the drivers that are Cup drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you do have some that have full contracts on both. I mean, if it's a full contract thing, then yeah, you're going to have to let them run.
You got to keep them sponsors happy. If they're wanting to see Carl Edwards or Kozlowski or somebody driving their car,
But
maybe what it takes.
But if they're just doing part-time race, part-time here, part-time there, let them put the money in the guys in Nationwide that need it. I mean, you've got some good guys out there.
They're just not getting the.
Yeah. They don't get to see the recognition because they're not able to be up at the front. Somebody put on the chat room that some of the guys like to race against the veterans. Yeah, maybe at Tony's racetrack up north.
But I agree. It gives them for some of the guys who are able to get in the race, it gives them a chance to see where they are against the Cup guys. If they're able to run with them, keep up with them, or if they can beat them. If they can beat them, that tells them they're doing something right.
Yeah.
Then comes down to that cubic dollar. They've got it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's the hardest thing you got to fight against. I mean, you got somebody got tons of money, you got to put them out there.
Oh yeah.
And I hate to use Joey Logano. His dad brought, I think it was $7 million to Joe Gibbs. Guess what? He's now Home Depot boy.
Yep.
That's right. Now they just got to mold him in.
But he's good though.
Yeah, he's not doing bad. He's shaping up. In the beginning, he was getting into a lot of trouble, beating and banging and punching.
It's tough when you don't have those years of doing Bush or Nationwide, in trucks and moving your way up, where they want to jump these kids real young and throw them up. David Reagan, same thing. He come out running Legends cars and Thunder Roadsters.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
was supposed to be driving one of the rigs down here to Langley. We thought he was going to be showing up about 8:30 last night, but their guys didn't show up sometime early this morning.
Somebody just brought up Little Gator is one of the good guys that haven't got quite the recognition that they deserve yet, but they're getting there.
Oh, Justin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask him about that, how that came about. The Little Gator thing.
He never really says.
He's a cool kid. He's a really nice guy. Enjoyed talking with him on the show as well as in person.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Right the phone.
Before I forget, the point standings as of now switched a lot, and I'm sure they're going to switch a lot with the next few races coming up.
Yeah.
So we have Martinsville, Talladega, a lot of the tracks that change everything.
Martinsville's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings.
And obviously Talladega usually does too. So.
Yeah. We got somebody driving with a lot of stupid in their car.
Yes. But Jimmy Johnson does lead the points I said you can't seem to stop him at the end of the year. He's only got it by 8 points though over Denny Hamlin, and then Kevin Harvick is third, Carl Edwards fourth, Jeff Gordon fifth, Kurt Busch sixth. Kyle Busch dropped to seventh after his rough weekend. Greg Biffle moved up one to eighth. Jeff Burton dropped to ninth. And then Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, and Clint Boyer are the final ones down there, but they could still have a shot. They're only Clint Boyer's 12th. He's only 250 points back. So I mean, really, he still has a chance, legitimately.
Yeah.
Well, he hadn't got that penalty for 100.
Yeah. All you need is somebody else get one of them big ass.
That's right.
penalties.
That's all it takes.
Oh, we're going back 10 spaces.
And like we say at work, everyone cheats until who gets caught. You ain't cheating if you ain't, or you ain't trying if you ain't cheating.
There you go. Oh,
Gotta bend them somehow.
yeah, that was one of the things. We had Brian Morehouse on from the Southern Modified Series and Mark Schmuck on at the same time, and they were back and forth. Oh yeah, we're going to be the ones that has to do all the stuff, and you got to find it.
It's always fun.
Yeah,
Mixed guys.
hide and seek.
Well, that comes back to money too. People have got it.
Yeah.
You know, they're making traction control so small nowadays that.
Oh yeah, there's fiber optic lines run to it. Some of them are remote.
Yeah, we've heard about people in the stands that can have the controller. We've heard nowadays that they actually have cut holes in the weights on the side of the car, and it actually goes through the ground into the thing. So you don't even know it's there. It's behind the weight, bolted up against the frame.
Yeah.
So you can't even see it anymore.
That's weird.
Being in electronics, I know there's no limit to what you can do.
Gotta love electronics.
When I was out there at Langley, I was already into fiber optics, and I said, hey, if you ever want to find out if anybody's using it, because a lot of the guys were taking, when they painted underneath, they would put the fiber optic right along the outside edge of the frame rail and just paint right over it. You can't see it. I said, just take a hacksaw blade and just all the way around, and
Oops,
guess
what
what?
happened?
Oops, ain't anymore. I don't know if you weren't around. I know you have for a while there. You notice a lot of the guys didn't do burnouts and stuff.
Right.
I wonder why.
We had an issue at Nationals up in Lake Erie a few years back. The kid that won pulled up to the crowd and put his nose against the wall to do a burnout after winning in the Pro Series, and he proceeded to blow up the clutch basket in the engine because he couldn't get the tires to spin.
We saw a video on that. The guy had a Corvette doing that. Like they were just gonna do a video of him doing a burnout. Just we found it online, just looking randomly, and he ended up burning the clutch, just smoking it, and he thought it was the tires the whole time. There's people watching, not saying anything. The tires, they start and they just stop. They don't go anywhere, and you see smoke start pouring out, and definitely
Sucks to be him.
Oh yeah.
That was an expensive oops.
Oh goodness. All right, well, we go ahead and wind this thing on down so we can get you out of here. I'm sure you got dinner plans with your wife, because you told me that if it didn't involve her, your booty was in trouble.
Yeah, definitely going to be in trouble.
One final thing.
Another one out there.
One final question: does the driver and car owner actually know if the car is legal or not, or is it more the car and crew chiefs only? That know.
Crew chief and the owner will know. Most of the time, they might let the driver in on it.
Yeah.
If it's something that he definitely has to know about, then yes, he will know about it.
Yeah. It's like we pulled that with Matt. Well, not really the cheating wise, but say he wanted to change and we do something completely different, and that worked. We'll keep doing it. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
What the driver doesn't know, sometimes better for him.
Some of the things I've been told. Oh God, been sworn to secrecy on a lot of it.
I know a few too.
Yeah, and we're talking up here in Cup and Nationwide Series, some of the stuff.
My dad working at DEI, he knew a few of the officials. He knew a few of the things too, and let me know.
Yeah.
Hush, hush.
Yeah. You remember when the mini trucks came out at Langley?
Right.
I originally was going to run those, and actually built one. Cheated it big time because the rules were so full of holes. It was ridiculous. The front spring buckets were rigged. Painted everything black, can't see it. That's the way it went.
There's always ways to cheat. Amen.
I never raced it once. Sold that sucker right after we got it finished. Bought a late model instead.
Yeah. And everybody's looking to cheat in late models with the money there. Most people are carrying to try to race against each other.
Gotta find that edge.
Yeah, they gotta find that edge. And
I'll tell you a story later on about that after we're off. About cheating at late models.
they're all doing it. You just gotta catch them, right?
That's right.
That's what I said.
That's right.
Everybody does it. Who and how you get caught.
Are we finished up with questions on
Yeah,
there?
we're pretty much.
I want to thank the Tony Smokies people that were out there watching tonight. I had visited with them Sunday.
They kept it entertaining on here.
Yeah, they're entertaining themselves, let me tell you. They said, I hope you can handle all the women that are going to show up. I said, hey, we're not scared. Bring them on.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, everybody have a good night. We'll see you next time. See ya!